Hi Stampers, this is Susan Petty Baylor. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in West Hartford, Connecticut in the United States. And we're going to be making this card today. I really like this design. It works with most any designer series paper that you happen to have on hand. As a matter of fact, I'm using a lot of retired designer series paper. But you could make it, these happen to be masculine cards, birthday and Father's Day. And so I'm trying to use, less flowery designer papers, but you could make this for guys, you could make it for women, you could make it for children. You really could use this design to make cards for virtually anybody. And it's a great way to use up your designer series paper scraps. So I have used several different papers here today. I should say that this was the original card that I found on Pinterest. It was posted by a woman named Wanda. And unfortunately, I could not find Wanda's last name on the post anywhere. So Wanda, if you're watching this, I love this card, and please feel free to post your name in the comments below. So this was made with the Wood Textures Designer Series paper, and it's on Sahara Sand, and the base is early espresso, and then I used Whisper White to do my stamping. This one is Venetian Romance, and I used, what is this? Soft Suede and Crumb Cake, and then the Venetian Romance Designer Series paper, and again, vanilla cardstock. And this one I thought was really fun. This is the Country Club Designer Series paper pack from the last Stampin' Up! Catalog, the 2019-2020 catalog, and I used Garden Green, Crushed Curry, and then Whisper White for the inside and for the stamping. So this time I am going to use the Come Sail Away Designer Series paper it's got a nautical theme, so it's fun for any of those guys out there who might sail or like boating or what have you. And remember, when you're designing these or when you're putting them together, you can use either side of the Designer Series paper, whatever you like. There's no right or wrong. I'm going to set this aside. This is my inside panel. I'll get that out of the way. And then this is my base. It's Night of Navy, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And remember, when you're folding your cardstock, you want to find the mountain. I don't know if you can see that, of the score, and score with the mountain inside your card. And that usually helps prevent any kind of cracking or breaking along this fold edge, and it keeps it very nice. The next cardstock I'm going to use, and I'm going to put this together as I talk, is Crumb Cake. And Crumb Cake is not actually in this Designer Series paper, but it's a lighter color neutral. The color in this paper is soft suede, but this is soft suede, and I just felt that was going to be a little too dark for my liking. You could certainly use it, but I liked the lighter color of Crumb Cake, and I think that looks good. Whoops, with this cardstock. So let me just very quickly attach these Designer Series paper pieces to their respective mats. Now that Designer Series paper, oh my goodness, I'm just like getting this all over the place. The Designer Series paper is cut 2 inches by 1 3/8. And then the Night of Navy layer is cut 2 1/4 long by 1 5/8 wide, so just 1/4 of an inch bigger than the designer series paper. And when I mat these, I like to try to have equal distance on all the edges from the designer paper. So it shows about 1/8 of an inch of the navy cardstock all the way around. So when I do my gluing, you'll notice that I'm using this silicone craft sheet. It's great because glue, any kind of adhesive, hot glue, won't stick to it, and so it keeps your work surface sticky free. So once you have all of your pieces glued onto their mats, you want to arrange them basically how you want them so that the borders are generally equal. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. This is a handmade card. And then to help with placement, usually I would just eyeball this, but if you're concerned about wanting to get them in the right place, you could take a pencil and very lightly, not pressing, very, very lightly, put a tiny little dot. I don't even know if you can see that there, but that's going to help me to know exactly where to put that first panel. And of course, when I did this, I moved my other pieces, which wasn't very smart. All right, and then I'm just going to go around and fill in with the other pieces, and I'm trying to line up the sides so that they're even on both sides, and I want the border at the bottom and at the top about equal. I'm okay if it's a little different in the middle. I actually am fine with that. I just want the perimeter of the card to be as close as I can get it. I feel like your eye is really drawn, at least my eye is drawn to symmetry. I know a lot of people can design kind of in wonky ways. I call them wonky, you know, where you have your cardstock kind of askew and it looks beautiful. I like it when I see it, but I just can't manage to design cards that way. Oh well. Anyway, so I have a Father's Day card here already, and I'm going to make this a birthday card, I think. If I can find, here we go. I have this happy birthday stamp, which I really like. And this stamp is from this Peaceful Moments stamp set. I like the mixed fonts. I just think it's kind of fun. And for this particular project, almost every one of these sentiments fits in this 2-inch square, and I can tell by just laying it on, and I can see that it's going to fit. Here this would be a little bit tight, but it's going to fit. Same with this one. Even the congratulations would fit. It would be tight, but it would fit. And remember, you can cut your stamps. So if you really wanted Life is Better with a Friend Like You on this card, I would cut it right here between A and Friend and mount one over the other and stamp that way. So anyway, I think this is a great stamp set for lots of sentiments. So I'm going to take my Night of Navy ink and I'm going to ink it up and I'm going to stamp, whoops, I almost stamped this crooked. Let's see, let me line this up on my grid paper and have all the points matching. That's just going to help me line it up. And then I'm going to stamp this happy birthday right in the middle. Oh, that wasn't very good. Let's try that again. Remember, we always have two sides to our cardstock. Make sure that my stamp is inked. And let's just try that again. Give that a good press. Yay, much, much better. Now, if I did want a Happy Father's Day card, there is a Happy Father's Day stamp in the Geared Up Garage stamp set. This is also available in the current catalog, 2020-2021. It was brought forward from last year. And I like this, but I don't want all these lines and things around it. So let me show you a trick to get that part of the stamp. Oh, I did not clean this. Let me just clean that off a little bit. Okay, so you're going to take a water-based marker, one of the Stampin' Write markers, and I'm going to use the Night of Navy marker, and I'm going to color just the words that I want. And this works too if you wanted to do different colors. Maybe you wanted father or fathers in a different color than happy and day. You could use more than one color. But it's got to be water-based markers. This does not work with alcohol markers. The alcohol will dry immediately and will not stamp. So after I get this colored, and I think I was saying that you want to use the side of the brush tip of your marker. You don't want to go straight up and down, you'll ruin the brush tip. But use the side, and you can color that all in. And let me put my cardstock here in the middle again, get it lined up. And when you color on a stamp with a marker, you know, what I put on in one part of the stamp is drying already, so you want to huff on it with your breath just to re-moisten that ink so that you get a better image. So we'll just give that a second, give it a good press. And there we have a nice Happy Father's Day. So that same sentiment could be used on the front here if you need a Father's Day card. So let me just glue this down. Nobody's ever going to know my little boo-boo on the back. Just you and I. All right, so I'm just centering that in the middle of my mat. And then I'm going to take some mini glue dots and put one in each of the corners. Now, if you don't have the mini glue dots, not mini glue dots, I'm sorry, the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. If you don't have the mini Stampin' Dimensionals, you could use the regular Stampin' Dimensionals and just cut them. Let me show you. I like to cut the edges. You could cut it here and have a half a piece, or you could even cut it again and have this little tiny piece. And if I was putting that on the corners, I would definitely do that. So let me just uncover take these backings off. And then I'm going to center this. What I'm doing is I'm matching up, I'm putting the corners about in the middle of each of the blank areas. It needs to come down just a hair. Oops. I think it would be good to use a tweezers for this. It would be easier to see because you could see all four corners. Okay, so that's that. That's the front of the card. And then for the inside, I like to take a little, maybe 1/4 inch piece of one of the designer papers that I'm using on the outside and decorate the inside. So I'm going to use my silicone craft sheet and keep the glue off of my work surface. Now sometimes if you only have a small piece of designer paper, maybe you would just decorate the short edge. If you have extra designer paper, you could also put one on the envelope. I've got ink all over me. I'm afraid I'm going to get this on the card. So I like to leave just a little bit of a border. You don't have to. You can butt it right up against. And then just take a scissors and trim. I like to use the same scissors for any kind of gluey mess so that I don't ruin my good paper snips with glue. I'm going to press this down on the back. Move that out of the way before I make a mess. All right, so we have that piece. And then we're just going to put this inside. Oh, I want this matte back. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue all around. Make sure I have my card right side up. Ask me why I do that. I have put things upside down if I wasn't, when you're in a hurry or you're not being careful. Okay, so then you have a little border. Now this border could be on this side. Like I said, you can do it across the bottom, across the top, whatever you like. And then you're all set. So here are some of the different designs that I have. And this is going to be part of the 6-card masculine card pack to be picked up or shipped. I think that's it. I'm not sure if I remember to tell you that the measurements of the designer series paper, it is 1 3/8 by 2, and then the mat is 1 5/8 by 2 1/4. So just 1/4 of an inch larger, and then this center mat that you're going to stamp on is 2 inches square. The mat is 2 1/4 inches square. So I think that's it. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care.